Seelah smiles at you warmly. Hey there. During that march through the dungeons, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time. Shake your hand. Agreed. I'd like to know more about you. Of course, ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Okay, tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Katapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Ayamade. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to the ranks more than I belong to any other place. You've come to Mendev by a long road, haven't you? Oh, a very long one. Seelah looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. Oh, and that just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Chupacabras, fascinating. Can't they drink their victims' blood during combat and gain strength from it? Oh yes, see their face grow serious. And they do it very quickly. They bite one victim, suck out their blood, and then strike their enemies quick as lightning. But now you've tricked me and I'm started telling the tale. Well, I might as well do it properly. Picture a small town in Kadera, and down in the dungeon there's 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the rope's been bought. But sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly, a paladin of Ayamade appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they live. If they survive, that is. Now there's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope. Wouldn't you say? So, here we are traveling through the desert. Me and my friends, priestess of Saranre, along with the little rat folk fellow who'd asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. Now we get to the rat folk village and saw their bodies laying around, all drained dry. Figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little rat folk described the monsters who attacked the village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads were pulled from the gallows, got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the rat folk, and Kyra. That was the name of the priestess. And we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs around a bear, and our rat folk friend wounded and down, and the teeth of the quickest of the blasted monsters was crunching on Kyra's shoulder. Right then, when all hope is lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kyra. Now, I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead one by one. The little rat folk is reunited with his family, who were hiding in the basement. The priest and I closed the eyes of the boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in its journey through the afterlife. Oh wow. That is a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead, he died a hero. And I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from a noose, and me, Kira, and all the rat folk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the same token, an evil deed done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. I guess that's what I really wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point. That is a great story. Thanks for sharing that. What made you become a paladin? Seelah's gaze sharpens momentarily, then sighs. That's a serious question, and a good one. You should ask it of your companions, but it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Sulku with the other homeless orphans. I stole. I fought. I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin of a paladin, is it? Back then, Sulku was a city of orphans, widows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous ones. One day, a group of knights of Yamade brought a glimmer of hope to the city. But while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time. That's what they say. And I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of the mithril's helms. Seelah pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Asame was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll, like all those others she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Sulku. That one blow was fatal, but who really was to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker or the young thief named Seelah? I know what it takes to survive sometimes, so I can't judge you. Well, I can. I believe everyone deserves a chance at redemption. But redemption means you understand what you did, and you're willing to be harder on yourself from now on. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of Yamade's warriors. We all chose the paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by desire to fight injustice. I became one who I am through penance and debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better. And I decided that instead, I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been, and protect the innocence that she would no longer be able to protect. What are the principles, then, that the paladins of Yamade follow? Seelah smiles. I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. Feels like I said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is strength in these words. And after a pause, she begins, her voice slow and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle, and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Ayamade's perfection. Thank you for that. That seems very important to you. I've learned a lot. Hope I didn't bore you. Ask me something else if you like. Well, what are your thoughts on what's going on in Canabras? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Seelah smiles brightly, and then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people and our protector Terendala have died here in Canabras. paladin of Yamade is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. It can undermine a warrior's spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultist from the city. There is wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them, all the more so if inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people's loved ones perished in Canabras. You may be right. I should keep myself in check more. Better discipline, more self-control. Qualities suited to a paladin. Is all about fighting demons with you? Is there anything else you want? Are you looking for anything more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones. Seelah's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the World Wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the crusade is reward enough for me. But there is something that worries me. Cat gets let in. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms. But the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim, the war against the World Wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things. Ordinary misfortunes, I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big, important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it, a little bit here and there. Okay, I do have a question though. Irbith said your friend Jana Aldari is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Irbith is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Jana myself, so I didn't distract her, but since you're in this too, I could use some help. Janet and I met in Canabras a few days ago. We just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together too. But we got separated in the crowd. So we should start looking from the main square. That's where I saw her last. Seelah frowns. Janet's a good fighter, even if she is green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. Well, thank you for this conversation. Until we meet next time. Alright, see ya.